Hey all, welcome to Todd Talks. I'm Papa Todd. If this is your first time stopping here, thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoy what I have to say. This channel is about sports, it's about current events, American history. I'm going to throw some workplace safety in there too. That's what I do for a living. Been doing it for about 20 years, so I enjoy that. So I'm hoping maybe get a couple videos out on a few things in case anybody is interested in that stuff. But today it's July 3rd, 2026, and we're heading into tomorrow will be this nation, the United States of America, 250th birthday. Kind of cool. I was talking to my wife about it today. So we're in our 50s, right? So we've been around longer than 20% of the existence of our own country. That's crazy when you think about how especially when you talk to Europeans, they've been around for thousands of years, right? So learn a lot of stuff about Europe too. And so actually for the first time ever, my wife and I, and so I don't claim to be a world traveler, but this fall, my wife and I have been saving up for a while, and so we started planning this really started about 3 years ago, but last summer we finally just said we're going to stop putting it off. We're going to go to Europe this fall. I'm really interested. We're going to fly into Milan, Italy, spend a few days there, and then we're going to spend we're going to spend about, what is it, a total of 14 days, so 8 or 9 days we're going to spend in Austria between Vienna and Salzburg, and then we're going to finish it off in Oktoberfest. So I get to spend a day at Oktoberfest. That'll be fun. In Munich. But anyway, so this got me thinking, you get the old patriotic vibes going through and everything like that. But one of the things I've been watching a lot, I've just been loving this. So the FIFA World Cup's going on right now. And so one of the things that we've been watching, or I've been watching, and I just can't get enough of it. And I know it's, self-congratulatory, right? But you start watching all these fans that are coming over from specifically Europe is most of them that I've been watching, but they come over and they're enjoying the United States. My God, the Tartan Army, hats off to you guys. Cool. I tend to agree with, I saw a statement out there that the Tartans, the Scottish, won the World Cup, even though that they got either they got knocked out in the first round of the knockout round, or they didn't even make the knockout round. I can't remember. I'm not a soccer football fan. I'm an American football guy, but I like watching sporting events, so we'll watch it some. But to watch all these fans come over, and they're all sitting there, and I don't know what kind of garbage is being spewed by the media in Europe, but they're all just flabbergasted. They come here and they all, like, so many of them, I heard they thought that they were nervous, like they were going to get shot in the streets, and that Americans were jerks and just mean people. And I don't understand how it can be this day and age and people still think that. But apparently, well, you believe what you hear, I guess, right? One of the things I hope to do with the channel is people understand you can think the way you want, right? So, and I'll get into my politics, which a little bit, I'll just touch on it here. Normally I would consider, 20 years ago, I'd be considered pretty much classic liberal. Small government, all this kind of stuff. And now you'd think I'm this far-right activist, but I'm not. I'm pretty much where the middle of the road used to be. I lean a little to the right, but pretty much to the middle. But you wouldn't know it today. I mean, this is Zoran Mamdani. Oh, anyway, I'm going to venture off of that. I'm going to get away from that and go back to the whole reason for why I wanted to post this. Anyway, so I'm watching all these videos from this FIFA World Cup about all these people coming over there, and they're just, it really makes you appreciate the things that we don't even understand we should appreciate about the United States, because they're head over heels about the fact that they get free refills, that a glass of water is free. We take that so for granted here, right? But that's what it is. And so, and they're talking about the space, like there's so much space. They're talking about how friendly the United States are. People are bending over backwards to help them out. People are buying them meals, buying them this, and you'd think, well, maybe it's just special treatment for this group. No. Go downtown to any bar and hang out in the bar, and people start buying you rounds at the bar, right? Or if you go out on the road and somebody's got a flat tire, there's always somebody that'll pull over and help them change. That's Americans. Don't buy in the garbage that you see on TV, and these people that pick up whatever the cause they're shooting for. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have a cause, but don't demonize the other side. That's all that happens anymore is people get demonized. There was a girl from my high school class, and we were Facebook or whatever social media I was on, and I had befriended a bunch of guys that were in their 70s and 80s, and I was in my, late 30s at the time, probably. And my first wife had passed away, and there was this local bar. It was a family bar. It was in Northwest Iowa, and it was like a pizza place, and it had a bar in the middle of it, and these guys would come down, and I started hanging out with them, and they just had a different sense of humor, and it wasn't racist. It wasn't anything, and one of them was probably one of the kindest men I've ever known, and he just loved playing mental tricks, and he'd just have all these puns that he'd say and everything like this. And so he got on my page one day, and this girl that I graduated high school with, she's a professor, and she's gone way left. More power to her, whatever. Don't have anything against that. I mean, if we all thought the same, it would be one hell of a boring world. Either that or we'd all be brainwashed, right? So I don't have a problem with people that see differently than me. Just don't freaking hate me because of my beliefs, right? There are people on the far right I won't deal with, right? There's people on the far left I sure as hell won't deal with because whatever. Anyway, but he had said something, and she gets on there and just attacked him for being an old white man. Well, bitch, you're a 40-something white woman. What? It's like one of these comedians once said, "You're sitting in the hot tub with me," right? I mean, if we have all this privilege and all this stuff, whatever. I don't even know that I agree with that. At least not to the extent that they push it. There's probably a bit of privilege, yeah. I'm not going to disagree with it, but there's also some weight and responsibility that comes with that nobody seems to ever pick up on. But anyway, so I'm watching all these things, and it just gives me a sense of patriotism watching this. You look at it like, what are the freedoms that we have that most other places don't appreciate? How about free speech? We saw what happened a few years ago with Trudeau up in Canada and stuff. My God, these truck drivers, they were just doing a peaceful protest, and they start getting their bank accounts frozen. What the hell is that, right? I'm watching, and there's a guy, and I'm going to try to tag him in this video. British Dad Reacts or something like that. This guy's a joy, man. He watches the United States, and he's just so pumped because he's just pumped up because they can't say certain things in Great Britain. They can't fly their own flag without getting put in jail or some kind of criminal charges against them, I guess. I've seen it on multiple platforms, so I'm assuming I got to research this, but every one of them says it, right? They're saying, no, like we don't have those rights. They come after us now. And that's what we got to watch out for, guys, because we keep voting and we keep giving the government. Watch what happened during COVID, right? And this isn't taking a side either, but I will take the side of John Doe out in the American public, is we showed just how fragile we are as a country, and maybe the fact that maybe we don't deserve the freedom we have, because I'll tell you what, everybody just jumped right in line with the science. How'd that work out for you, right? I'm thoroughly convinced for as quickly as everybody jumped on, and they still got half the country that would buy into that. There's still people wearing masks around there. They don't even know how to wear them right. So they're not really being protected. It's like a political statement to wear a mask now or something, I guess. I don't know. Pretty stupid, but so freedom of speech. I mean, you would think it's pretty basic because we've grown up with it here, but people elsewhere don't have that. And we should appreciate that and not take it for granted and defend it at all costs. And that includes the unpopular speech. That's maybe the most important speech, because as soon as we start drawing a line where this is and this isn't, we lose it all. Because they'll just start eroding it away. They're already doing it, guys. Already doing it. Look what happened during COVID. Um, weapons and guns. We have the Second Amendment, right? The First Amendment, the most important. Religion, speech. Second Amendment protects that, right? But I was watching some of these Europeans talking about their first experience with the guns, and they were talking about, well, Americans, it's not like the Wild West. Like, they actually respect these things. They take care of them. They'll invite you out and let you shoot their weapons if you want to, and they do it with such respect and such a command and such a sense of duty about it, right? I mean, that's awesome. Why do I read something one time and somebody said, why wouldn't you ever attack the United States mainland there? Because they said there'd be a firearm behind every blade of grass. And that's about right. I don't think I'm making this up. I think there are more firearms than the Americans at this point in the country. So, I mean, it's important, and it also keeps the government at bay, because, man, there's been once or twice I thought maybe we were getting close to it. What did they say? The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. I think that time might be coming before I'm gone. I hope not. I hope my kids don't see it. I just think it's a matter of time. I just think we're there. The country's so divided. Unless we pull back as a people and start understanding we got to appreciate each other, that's going to happen too. Freedom of movement. We can really do whatever the hell we want, right? In Europe, yeah, you're going from country to country, but you're going to have to get, I don't know what the process is over there, but you can't just move from one country into another, right? There's this whole, like, we essentially have 50 countries within one border, right? We can move to any state and we don't need real permission to do it. We can just do it. I don't think you can do that in Europe. I think there's a whole, you got to get the green card, you got to do all this stuff, you got to have your papers, your passports. You don't need to do that over here. I mean, we can live in Texas. I mean, my wife and I, just in the short time we've been together, right? So it's been 13 years of marriage now, and we have lived in Iowa, we have lived in Mississippi, we have lived in Florida, we have lived in Minnesota, and we are now in Tennessee, and I'm hoping we stay in Tennessee. Love the state of Tennessee. We're just south of Nashville. Just love it down here. And then the other thing that we should be happy of is our standard of living. We have an incredibly high standard of living. The poorest people in our country run around driving vehicles, talking on cell phones. Does that mean we're perfect? No. Does that mean everybody lives great? No. There are people living in squalor, and it's atrocious, and it shouldn't be that way here. But apparently it's more important that we bring in people from elsewhere and treat them better. They're first. They jump in line, which I don't think that's right either, and we'll talk about that in another video. But we have a great standard of living here, right? And we should take that. And finally, why am I thankful to be a citizen of the United States? And really, if you think about it, so I think it goes, you watch the Americans at the FIFA World Cup singing the national anthem, and it brings people from other countries to tears. I mean, it's a great story. If you've never heard the story, maybe I'll talk about that sometime. But about the writing, that was an actual battle. It was during the Revolutionary War. I think it was during the Revolutionary War, and the fleet was just pounding Fort Henry, and they said, we're gonna take it down, and if you take the flag down, that means you surrendered, and it held up, and they didn't know how, because it had been direct hit all night long. And they went in there, and it had been held up by people after it had been shattered, and they had bodies stacked around the founding, and that was the pride of, they would not give in. They were not going to give up. They were going to fight to the end for their freedom, and that's the way it went down. And it's really a fascinating story. And Americans sing it. They don't even really know what they're singing. Most of them don't. But man, they take it serious when they sing it. And when I grew up, we said the Pledge of Allegiance every day at the beginning of school, right? But what are you pledging allegiance to? If you're in the United States, you don't pledge it to a party. Well, there are some people that do, right? But the Pledge of Allegiance, we don't pledge allegiance to a person or a party. We pledge allegiance to a flag. And why is that? Because the flag represents the idea or the ideals of a nation. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, right? It's just, to me, that's amazing. To me, that's amazing. And that's why we survive and we have peaceful transfers of power. And every once in a while, some bozo tries to fight that or whatever like that. But at the end of the day, it's always been a peaceful transfer. And so we survived the extremes, going from a Democrat president with far left ideas to a Republican president with far right ideas. And we're still standing. And we still go next to next. And for those of you who are overseas, that maybe, if anybody happens to pick this up and sees it for me, we don't, over here, we don't live our lives based on our politics. And by I mean that, we don't pick our friends based on politics, and we don't, that's not all we talk about. We're not afraid to let people know where we stand on stuff most of the time. I go out in public, I really don't. It's just like, I don't want to get in a political argument with people who don't know me at all. Don't know what I'm about, what I stand for. It's just not worth my time. I don't see the time in it. But anyway, I'm looking out the window now, and it's gonna storm tonight, and I hope it's hotter than the hubs here, man. But I am hoping that the weather holds up, because I got a neighbor down the street that throws fireworks that's just fabulous. So I think tomorrow, normally I go to bed before all that, I think, but last year I heard it, and then all the people in the neighborhood talking about what a show it was. So I think I'm going to stay up a little late tomorrow night, celebrate the 250th birth of the United States of America, and love the fact that thousands and thousands of people from around the world are here and they're enjoying it, and they get to spend some special time. I mean, 250, that's a pretty big one. So hope around another 250. Sometimes I have doubts about whether we will be or not, but I really hope we are, because this country, to me, keeps getting bigger, better, stronger. We are not on our way down. We just need to correct ship with the politics before we give it away. So happy 250th America. For all my fellow Americans, I hope you have a safe holiday. Don't blow any hands off. Don't lose an eye. Don't get in a car wreck. Get a sober driver. Don't be driving drunk on the highways. It's just dumb. Don't do it. And for those of you from outside of the country, around the globe, I hope you enjoy. I hope you've learned a little bit about the United States from watching the FIFA and the World Cup stuff, and hopefully you'll stop by here, and I'll kind of try to be giving you some insights from just a common Joe here in the United States, and our thoughts and way we view some stuff over here. But we're not this vicious creeps that the world apparently would have you think about us. So God bless America. I'm Papa Todd. This is Todd Talks. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me. And until next time, keep thinking for yourself.